Hello and welcome to the first episode of Never Mind the Movie, What About the Score? And for my first episode, I would like to take a look at an entry in the early 90s by then newcomer Hans Zimmer. Now for Hans Zimmer fans, you know him dearly by this style and this style. But you have to ask yourself, do you really know Hans Zimmer's style really that well? There was a time where he didn't sound like that at all. Now, do you know Hans Zimmer's style? Do you? Do you, punk? But seriously, folks, there have been other scores that haven't sounded so masculine and loud and just like that. One example is a score I'm about to review today, Radio Flyer. Now, this movie is about child abuse, but you can never tell by listening to the score, to quote filmtracks.com review. Thanks, Christian. Now, I personally think that a lot of Hans Zimmer's best scores are from the early 90s. Backdraft, which I think is a bit overrated, but whatever. Beyond Dragoon, Radio Flyer, Crimson Tide, Broken Arrow. There's probably one in there, one I'm missing, and of course my personal favorite, A League of Their Own, which is a big, rousing, big band jazz score. But the CD release doesn't really do that score justice, but you can get it by other means. Anyway, to Radio Flyer. It's so different, it makes you feel like a child again. Like, it makes you want to skip down the street, or you just go and play in a sandbox somewhere, or just dream, or imagine, use your imagination to the max. At the start, it just sets the tone where it appeals to your child imagination, like you're a 4-year-old kid again. And the great thing about this score is the consistent viewpoint. Like, it's always told from the child's perspective. That was Hans Zimmer's original approach, because it probably wouldn't have been as good a score if he scored the horror of the child abuse. Well, that's actually not true. He can do depressing music, as The House of the Spirits, which is also a very good early 90s score by him. It's relaxing but very depressive, but I highly recommend it. But Radio Flyer is consistently upbeat and so happy, it's charming. That's the word to describe it, is charming. It's not unlike Ponyo on the Cliff by the Sea, where it's all upbeat and happy, that it's almost sickening, but not too sickening, like, depending on what your tolerance is. The great thing about this score is that there's a real orchestra, and it's mixed that way. And there are synthesizers, but they're not used that much in the score, like to accent the orchestra, not the other way around, which Hans Zimmer has done on occasion. This score has a lot of strengths. First of all, it has a multitude of themes. Like, there are at least half dozen themes and more motifs and things of that nature. First one is the main theme, which is it's a combination of adventure and a child's imagination, and it works quite well when it's played in with a full orchestra or just a clarinet solo in the first suite. There's also a fantasy motif, which is kind of like John Williams' E.T. score. The motif that starts the score and ends the score, the flute, da 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 da. It doesn't sound like that at all, but it sort of gives the same impression. There's also a family theme, as I call it. I don't actually know, I haven't seen the movie, but it's sort of a heartwarming theme that on the clarinet, when it's first heard on the clarinet in the middle of the first suite, And there's also the abuse theme, which is very simple, and it's kind of scary, and it's not totally like you lose sleep over, but it is effective on the xylophone and other instruments. And the other thing is that there are a lot of I call them kiddie marches, like children marches. Like you can probably, if you hear it, you can tell for yourself what it is. But another strength of the score is the orchestrations are very, very good, like very balanced. The full orchestra is utilized. Like thank you, Shirley Walker, and it's just not the cellos and basses like in this score. It's all cellos and basses, and brass and a few percussionists and some bassoons, and that's it. Like here, there's a great use of woodwinds, like clarinets, flutes, oboes, bassoons, things of that nature. And it's always nice to hear, because I think that section of the orchestra is underused by Hans Zimmer, especially in his later career. What else? There's also soloists, like there's the harmonica, there's the clarinet solo, there's the panpipes done by Richard Harvey, who's a composer of Animal Farm, and also did the flute work for Hans Zimmer in Beyond Ragoon, and also he composed a great cue in the Da Vinci Code, but I don't remember what it is. Shame on me, I know. I've gone over how to describe the score, but I just want to reiterate that this score is charming, absolutely charming. Like, that's the adjective I choose, and I stick by it. There are a lot of great moments in this score. Like, a lot of them are on the first and last suites on the album. Like, that's how it's set up. Hans Zimmer loves to put long suites together. Like Crimson Tide is an absolute trademark, is an absolute example of this trademark. But it's not so bad here, because the music is consistently good. Like there are no boring parts. There are no exceptionally bad parts that makes you want to skip. I'm sorry. And there's a little song at the end, The Name Game. I didn't really listen to it, but it's not that good. What else can I tell you? Like, if within the first 5 minutes of listening to the score, you'll get an idea for what it is. Like it symbolizes childhood and the imagination and the fears and the fantasy that children have. And there are a lot of big building brass soaring parts, which are really nice to listen to, especially in the final suite. What else can I tell you? There's even the very creative use of a children's choir, but not in the Danny Elfman, James Horner sort of term of children's choir. They actually sing la 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 and things of that nature. And it's only about 15 seconds, but it really makes you feel like a kid again, at least to me. Especially the final cue is good. It starts with a thrilling melody that makes you want to jump up and down in excitement. And there's a symbolization of flight with the brass and the full orchestra, woodwinds climbing, brass climbing, trumpets playing, strings soaring, that sort of thing. And then the main theme breaks out, and it's very all nice to listen to. But actually, the best part is at the end, is near the end, where this jazz trumpet solo begins. It's really crazy and great to listen to, and then it sort of winds down to this kid's fantasy motif, and then it ends with a theme. But I actually recommend it. Hans Zimmer was impressed that he could compose such a score, and that's an endorsement. And this score is available on eBay. It's out of print, but it's on eBay. But I give it 4 solid stars, or 5 stars depending on my mood. Thank you for tuning in.